Hello, and welcome to the first video on this channel. So on this ASMR channel, I'll be posting a lot of video game content, along with retro nostalgic content, Pokemon, gameplay, taking you shopping to find video games with me, and more. And I'm really looking forward to sharing my passion of video games with you. So this is the first of 3 collection videos I'll be posting. In this one I'll be showing a few of my game shelves and mostly just games. And then in the second I'll show the consoles I currently have. And then in the third I'll show my sealed video game collection. Just a quick overview, I've been collecting video games since I was 10 years old when I got my first Game Boy Color, lime green. With Pokemon Red, I fell in love with video games and I've been obsessed ever since. So as an adult now, I'm still an active collector, always on the hunt for new things for the collection, which you will follow as I build my collection on this channel. So let's get started, and I apologize in advance. My collection is kind of scattered around my house, so some of the footage might be a little tricky to film, but I hope you find this relaxing, and thanks so much for watching. Alright, so first up I have this shelf that has Switch games, and what I will say is this is basically everything that's open, so all the games that I've played in the past few years. I have Stardew out actually because I really want to play it again soon, so let me know if you'd be interested in a gameplay video. I might consider doing that soon. Some of my favorite Switch games, definitely Animal Crossing, definitely The Witcher, Spiritfarer, and let me see, Doom Eternal is one of my favorites. Nino Kuni, Pokemon Sword and Shield, of course, Breath of the Wild. And I'll actually be doing collection videos soon, where I just go over every single game in every collection, so I won't go over every game right now, but this is kind of just a preview. Alright, so now we're at the Xbox shelf. So it's a mix of Xbox 360 and Xbox One. Just pull out a few of my favorites. Lies of P was actually really fun. Played it earlier this year. Definitely recommend it. Let me see if I can get all of these out. Dark Souls is one of my favorite game series of all time, so we have Dark Souls 3. Another Skyrim. Jedi Fallen Order I actually loved. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy these games, but I did. Halo Infinite, and the Master Chief Collection. And then one of the best video games of all time, in my opinion, Elden Ring. So Xbox 360, of course, many of the Halo games, then BioShock 1, 2, and 3. I love this series. It's amazing. Skyrim, one of my favorite games of all time. And the Dark Souls series, Also one of my favorites, GTA 5, Dead Space, one of my favorite games of all time. Then just a bunch of other favorites. And just a few other games. Actually, It Takes Two is honestly one of the best games to play with friends. I love it. And I have not played Red Dead Redemption 2 yet. It's been on my list for a very long time, so I know I have to get on that soon. So while I'm here, I'm going to actually just pull up my PS4 and PS5 games. So I don't actually have a specific shelf for PS4 and 5 games right now, so they're kind of just sitting here. I have so many games I need to play. I actually have not played either of these yet. I have not played Mass Effect. God of War I did play and absolutely loved. And let me move these so I can show you the PS5 games. Dead Space Remake, which was so good. Ratchet and Clank, which I just finished. Have not played this yet, but I want to soon. GTA 5 on PS5, always a classic. Demon Souls. Resident Evil 4, I loved replaying. So good. Jedi Survivor. Very, very good. And then The Last of Us. I have not played part 2, but I did enjoy part 1. Okay, so let's move down to the Wii shelf. I actually don't really have that many Wii U games. I have a long list of games I want to purchase, but I would say my favorite Wii U game in this collection is probably just Wind Waker. And then most of these Wii games are actually from my childhood. So a lot of them I've not played in a really long time, but I do like firing up the Wii every once in a while, especially when playing with friends. So like all of these are mostly from a while ago. These two games are new. Oh wait, no, this one and this one is new. I recently picked those up for the collection. And then down here, tons of classics. Mario Party 8 and 9, Super Mario Galaxy, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword. Let me see, Wii Sports Resort. I actually played this recently and it was so much fun. I forgot how much I enjoyed it. Alright, so now on to one of my favorite consoles of all time, GameCube. So lots of different games. Again, most of these are actually from when I was a kid. Trying to see some of my favorites I can point out. Of course, Animal Crossing. So relaxing. WarioWare is actually a game I recently picked up at a game convention. I'd been looking for it for quite a while and found it at a decent price, so I was happy about that. Trying to collect all of the Mario games. Of course, the Resident Evil games, Pikmin, Sims, some other random games. Then down a little bit lower, we have a lot of my favorites. So this is one of my favorite games of all time, which is why I sometimes just leave it displayed, but I'll just stick it up here for now. Sunshine, Double Dash, Super Mario Strikers, love Luigi's Mansion. And then Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Four Swords Adventures, Ocarina of Time, of course, Collector's Edition, Metroid Prime, Star Fox, loved Star Fox 64, and then F-Zero. There are still a few games that I'm looking for on GameCube, just have not purchased them because they are outrageously expensive. So we'll see. I don't think I'll be finishing the GameCube collection anytime soon. Alright, so I'll definitely have to do a separate collection video so I can go through all these since you can't see them, but of course Ocarina of Time is one of my favorite games of all time. And of course we have GoldenEye, Pokemon Stadium, Perfect Dark, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Majora's Mask, definitely a favorite, Star Fox 64, Doom. I think another video I might do is actually cleaning all of these shelves, because I know they get so dusty. Super Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, Super Smash, Paper Mario, Mario Tennis, Mario Party, and yeah, I know you can't see these, so again, I'll do a separate collection video for each console. But basically, Nintendo 64 games are all my favorite from childhood, so very nostalgic. So I unfortunately do not have the best setup to film this low shelf since it's pretty much on the floor, but these are my SNES games. As you see up front, one of my favorites is Super Mario RPG, which I so enjoyed playing on Switch this year. And Super Mario World is back there. Yoshi's Island, Super Mario All-Stars, Mario Paint, I love that. And then over there you will see my very, very small Dreamcast collection. I do want to grab a few more games eventually. I would say my favorite in this collection is probably these two games, Resident Evil Code Veronica and Sonic Adventure. But yeah, not a crazy collection for Dreamcast. 3DS collection is currently what I'm working on very, very actively. I'm trying to collect all of the Pokemon games, which is a very big endeavor. So, like I said, I think it'll be fun if you come to video game stores with me to try to find them. I'm definitely finding some here and there, but of course some are really expensive, so it's taking some time. But I love the 3DS. I think there are so many good games. Actually recently played Ocarina of Time. On 3DS. And I loved it. Just great graphics, and it kind of was cool to play on the 3D feature. So I recommend it if you've never played Ocarina, you have to. And then, what was the other one I played recently? Oh, New Leaf I played for a little while, but I never continued. I don't know why. It was super relaxing. You fix these. collection of 3DS games. And now, next will be DS games. I do not have that many DS games right now, so that's another collection I'm working on. So again, I apologize for the shaky camera. These are on the floor, so it's kind of hard to film, but I guess my favorite game I have for this collection is Soul Silver. I love this Pokemon game. So definitely one of my favorites, which is why I have it on top. And then of course you can just see some other random titles. And then over here I just have a few boxed games. I don't have very many, but I actually found these at a yard sale. A lady was giving them away for free, and I was not going to do that. I wanted to give her something, so I gave her some money for them because she obviously was not aware that video games are worth something, especially these days. So that happened one time. It'll probably never happen again, but it was pretty cool. And then down here I have some Game Gear games. So let me see. Of course, Sonic games. Sonic 2. Mortal Kombat. So yeah, nothing too crazy, but just a start of a little collection for Game Gear. And that's for Game Boy. And then just a few NES games. This is another collection I'm working on. Definitely more games I want to purchase, but just Legend of Zelda, Tetris, Super Mario 2 and 3, and then Super Mario Duck Hunt. And I'm just keeping them in these nice sleeves. This one will stay up. Just keeping them in these nice sleeves so they don't get dusty. And then over here, this is actually from when I was a kid. I got this with my lime green Game Boy. So it's one of my favorite things I own. It just has so many memories. And then we have Pokemon Pinball back here, missing the battery cover. And then these are all from when I was a kid. This was the first game I got with my Game Boy that really got me into gaming, like I mentioned earlier. So this is probably one of the favorite things that I own. And then Fire Red as well. I used to have so many more Pokemon Game Boy games, but years ago I sold them for no specific reason. I don't know why, and I just totally regret it, so I do want to repurchase them eventually. Randomly, I just have a Pokedex here. And then this is just a bag of games. So basically all Game Boy Advance games, Link's Awakening. I really need to organize them eventually, but haven't gotten around to it. So that's that random cube. So on this next little shelf, first I have one of my favorite things, and I just think this is so beautiful. I got it for Christmas, I think like a year ago, but I just think it looks so pretty, and obviously this is Elden Ring. So I'll turn the light back on, just wanted to show you. So on this top shelf here, I just have a few things. This is actually another favorite little piece I have, and it's from Etsy for anyone who's wondering. The quality is just so amazing. So just a really cool display piece. And then over here I just have some old magazines. I think almost all of them have been featured on my other channel. Some old Nintendo Powers, Ocarina of Time Player's Guide, Majora's Mask Player's Guide, BioShock Player's Guide. I have some more stored away, but these are just kind of my favorite that I like to have displayed. And then of course some Pokemon cards too. So down here just some random things. I don't know why I keep this out, I just love Dragonite. I recently collected all of the tins that were in the Scarlet and Violet 151 collection, so just keep this one out. And then fall picks. And then of course from Dark Souls. I thought this was cool. And these are just some unboxed Sega games, nothing crazy to be honest. Just kind of keep them over there. And then on the right side, we have some boxed Sega games. This is just a poster. So, Sonic of course, Rocket Knight Adventures, I absolutely love. Flashback, it's kind of fun too. Mortal Kombat. I honestly don't have a big Genesis collection. I didn't play too much on the console, so I'm not trying to collect any more for it at the moment. But I still like to have these displayed. Alright, so now down here, I do have a PS1, 2, and 5. I do not have a 3 and 4. I used to, but over the years they just broke and I never replaced them, so I don't even really have collections for them. Just kind of a bin of random games, but I don't display them either. So these are all PS1 games. This was actually one of my favorite games when I was younger, Spice World, and I popped this in recently and it is so terrible. I don't even know how I thought it was fun, to be honest. It was really, really bad. Some cool coasters too. So for PS1, the one game that I'm missing here that was one of my favorite games of all time is the original Crash Bandicoot. Somehow I lost it, so that is a game you will probably see me purchase in a game hunting video soon because it's really bothering me that I lost it. So I want to repurchase. But this is actually a game I played all the time as a kid. Let me know if you did too. And I think they are remastering this, if I heard correctly. So I will definitely pick it up if they are. Oh, I was also so into Spyro. So, Spyro the Dragon, Spyro Year of the Dragon. So you can see I played these pretty often. Honestly, most of my PS1 cases are in terrible condition, but I actually don't mind, especially since I know these were the actual games that I played with as a kid. It just makes it so special. I'm so happy I kept them. And then of course Pro Skater. I feel like everyone was playing this when it was popular. The graphics are so terrible now, but I definitely enjoyed playing the Switch version that came out. And speaking of really bad graphics, Tomb Raider, PlayStation Classic, and then also Resident Evil 2. And it's funny, I actually recently picked this game up. I remember playing this all the time. As a kid, Rugrats Search for Reptar. And I actually did put this in, and it was so fun to replay. Even with the PS1 graphics, it brought back a lot of memories. Don't know what happened to the case for Spice World. And then lastly, my PS2 collection. Again, it's pretty small. I'm not really actively collecting at the moment for PlayStation. But I would say out of these games, my favorites are probably Simpsons Hit and Run, American Wasteland, The Wrath of Cortex, and definitely Silent Hill 2, which actually might replay sometime soon, maybe around the Halloween season. Alright, so that concludes this video. Next I will be showing my console collection, so I hope you will join me for that soon. And then like I said, I'll also be doing a video showing my sealed collection. So please subscribe to this channel if you're interested in seeing more. I'm really hoping to build a community and to have the channel grow. Also feel free to subscribe to my main ASMR channel, Falling Up ASMR, where you will find lots of role plays as well as some other video game content. Comment below if you are a video game collector, or if you have any favorite games, or even any video game content ideas you have for me. I'd love to hear. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and thanks so much for watching. Hello again, and welcome back to the channel. So this is part 2 of my collection video, and today I'll be showing you all of my consoles. So let's get started. Alright, so starting off, this is the little Wii shelf. So I have 2 Wii remotes. And then 2 nunchucks. A red and a black. And then, of course, a Wii controller as well. This one gets dusty so quickly. And then this is the red Wii. I'm not going to take it out because it is actually plugged in right now, but I do love the red. I also have a white one. I don't know why I don't have it displayed, but I like the Wii. Like I said in my previous video, there are lots of good games, and honestly, when this came out, I just thought it was so cool. I think everybody did. Oh, also, side note, please ignore all the cords that are just scattered behind all of this. We're kind of in a temporary living situation right now, So I'm hoping very soon we will have an official game room, at least that's the goal. Alright, so down on this lower shelf, it's kind of hard to see, but it's the Wii U. So 2 Wii U controllers, and then the handheld piece, and then the base. Then moving over here, we have the Genesis and Dreamcast, one of my favorite controllers of all time. So this is the Dreamcast, and then the Genesis, and then 2 Genesis controllers in the back, and 2 random games that I need to put over on the other shelf. And then the Super Nintendo, so can you tell which one is from when I was a kid versus which one is newer? So the one on top is my newer Super Nintendo. And then this is my one from childhood, and it's pretty yellowed as you can see. And then I have 4 controllers. And GameCube is next, so I have the black with the Game Boy player on the bottom, and then the silver, and an orange controller, silver controller, and then also in the back just have the Game Boy player disc, which I actually have used pretty often, so glad I have it. And then of course I have an NES, which is from my childhood. I feel like I kept it in pretty good condition considering I know my brothers beat stuff up pretty badly, and then I just rescued everything once they didn't want any of it. So I guess I got lucky. But yeah, this is super nostalgic to me. I didn't play it as much as some of the consoles that came after it, which is why I don't have a huge collection. But of course, it's just still a classic. So I do have it, and I love displaying it. And then over in the corner here, I'll just bring it up since it might be easier to show you. I have my Game Gear. Screen is kind of beat up, to be honest, but it's not in the worst condition. I've definitely seen ones that are a lot worse. Sometimes I'll pop a game in if I just want to relive the Game Gear memories, but the amount of batteries it takes is insane, as many of you I'm sure know. But we do have this power back on the back, so you can charge it up and not have to use batteries. But so yeah, definitely have this in the collection. I did play Game Gear here and there, but I never really got into too many of the games. Then also on the bottom shelf, just have the box for my 3DS XL. And I think I showed these in the previous video, but just have a DS case and then Game Boy Advance case. And then of course, this for the Game Boy. One of my favorite accessories. This one's actually for Game Boy Advance. So I also just wanted to show some of my favorite artwork. This is one of my favorites. Got this a few years ago from Etsy. And then this is another favorite. Thought that was really cool. And then another cool one I like is from BioShock. Would you kindly visit soon? So I also love that. Then I also have a Hyrule map, which is kind of hard to see because of my light, but this is from Ocarina of Time. And then just below the artwork is where I keep the handhelds. I actually just got these plastic stands from Amazon. Highly recommend them. I think it was like $10 for 12 of them. They are very good quality. So let's go through all of the handouts. So starting off, we have the 3DS XL. And this is one of my favorite handheld consoles for sure. I just love the 3D aspect, and there are so many good games. I mean, pretty much any game you can imagine is probably on the 3DS. And I really like this XL size. I think it's just like the perfect size. And of course you have a pen, stylus that it comes with. And then yeah, it's just super comfortable to hold, really nice screens. And then yeah, just the 3D aspect makes it really, really cool in my opinion. And next up is the DSi. So this one is kind of beat up, but it was actually my sister's. And yeah, this has a stylus too, but I think the original one went missing. I don't think I've actually really played many games on this, but I'm definitely glad to have it in the collection. And I actually really like the size of it too. Very compact and nice for on the go. Then right back here, we have the DS Lite. So this is also a nice size, very compact. And honestly just kind of looks and feels similar to that one. Now moving on to some of my favorites. So we'll start off with the Game Boy Advance. And I absolutely love this one. I just love the shape of it. I was so excited when it came out. And I was so excited to get this kind of clear, frosty purple color. And I still pop in Game Boy Advance games every once in a while and play them. And when I do, of course, I use my handy light. So I can see the screen perfectly. I might actually leave the light on, kind of like it. Then right back there is the Game Boy Advance SP. Now when this released, I was also really excited, and this just had a really cool clamshell design, which I thought was unique. And it just kind of felt like a phone to me, so it was cool. And this actually had a backlight, So you can see the button right there to turn the backlight on and off, which was amazing for the time. So yeah, I love this. Now moving on to some more Game Boys. So this is the Game Boy Pocket. It's very light and definitely, well, it's definitely smaller than the original Game Boy, and then a little bit smaller than the color. I have yet to get a Game Boy Micro, but it's been on my list for a long time. This is not in the best condition. This is from when I was very, very young, and it was actually my brother's, so as you can tell, a theme. I think I was the only one in my family who took care of things. But I love having family collection pieces. So then the original Game Boy, which every time I hold it, I just feel like I can't believe the size of it. And as you can see, I've kept it in really good condition, tried my hardest at least. And I'm happy to have it in the collection. I also have a Light Boy, which I'm attaching right now. Alright, so when you need some extra light, you can just pop that on and very conveniently be able to see the screen a little bit better. This makes it so heavy, but I know back in the day it was probably the coolest thing ever. And then 2 Game Boy Colors, a purple one, and then a lime green Game Boy Color. And this is definitely one of my most prized possessions. I always say this is kind of what really got me, I would say, addicted to gaming when I was younger. And it's really what got me into collecting. So back in the day, of course, Pokemon was my thing. And sometimes I'll just display this on my shelf because this was my life for a really long time. Pokemon Red and my lime green Game Boy. Favorite combination. But I loved all the Pokemon Game Boy games, especially as so many others started coming out after, Red, Yellow, and Blue. I was just obsessed for so many years, so a lot of fond memories. So yeah, this is all the handhelds for now. And then Game Boy Micro I really would like to get soon. And then a PSP. Actually want to start a PSP collection, so I'm hoping to maybe film a video of me starting to do that as well. Now the Switch shelf is pretty basic. Just the Switch controller, Switch obviously, and then the Switch Pro Controller. Then up here we have the Xbox One X with 2 controllers, a red one and a black one. And then on the this bottom shelf, Nintendo 64, and then all of our accessories and controllers. So a purple one, 2 gray ones in the back, and then a blue one. And then yeah, just some memory cards, just all the accessories. I think that's a Game Shark. Yeah, Game Shark. And then this is another little shelf I have, so dedicated to Xbox, as you can see. This actually has not been opened yet. It's actually something that I won in a raffle at my company that I work for. And I actually don't specifically play many digital games, so I'm thinking of either giving it to a family member for Christmas or just keeping it sealed, so we'll see. But I thought that was pretty cool. And this is just a little Halo steelbook. Can just kind of have it by Xbox stuff for some extra decor. This was for Halo Infinite. And then this is my Xbox 360. And then 2 controllers. I actually like the Xbox 360 controller. I just thought it was pretty comfortable. And then yeah, this is my original Xbox 360. So yeah, it's actually in pretty good condition. Just needs to be cleaned a little bit. It's very, very dusty, especially up here. So then I also just wanted to show this piece of artwork, which I also love. And then last but not least, the little PlayStation section. So like I said, I only have 1, 2, and 5. So the PS1 with controller. And then I actually have the original first PlayStation, but I think I have it packed away in a box somewhere. It is pretty beat up, so I just keep this one on display for now. Then a PS2 with a controller. And I always liked how slim it was. Very light too. And then last but not least, the PS5. And I love this controller. I love that it has speakers in it. Sometimes when I'm playing a game and sound comes out of the controller, I still just jump because I think back on how I used to wear a headset, playing Halo, playing everything back in the day. So I just think technology is so cool. Alright, so that's everything. Thank you so much for watching. In future videos, I definitely want to go through all the consoles I'm currently on the hunt for. There are quite a few. I'm always trying to grow the collection. So comment below if you have any of these consoles, enjoy them, and let me know if you're also a collector. And please also subscribe to the channel if you're interested in seeing more video game content. I look forward to building a community, so thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.